I'm Cas Olivier from South Africa, the country with one of the worst educational track records in the world. This doesn't mean that something good cannot emerge from South Africa. The Thinking Tools method has on its track record a child from a dysfunctional Western Cape school whose marks in natural science increased from 15% to 61%. That is a 46% increase. There is a primary school whose maths average for grade 7 was 55%. After Thinking Tools, it increased to 72%, and that is on a departmental exam. Thinking Tools originated from my biggest fear as junior biology and science teacher. I was always so afraid someone would ask me, what do you do as a teacher? What makes your job a profession? In fact, I was more afraid of the answer. That would be something like this. I read and interpret the textbook. I then explain the content to my pupils who are competent to read and write themselves. Makes you think, eh? More frightening. I, as a teacher, determined the pace of the learners learning, which I thought, sometimes excelling and sometimes holding back the throttle, because I didn't know about the existence of the chronosensor in each and every learner's brain, which I only discovered within the Thinking Tools paradigm. We are all born with a chronosensor in our brain, which each and every teacher should know about. Most of the things learners struggle with can be linked back to a chronosensor issue. When a child struggles with table, it's a chronosensor issue. At about the chrono of the tables, it lies behind that. When a child struggles to read time, it's a chronosensor issue. I must share this. I also trained parents on Thinking Tools, and I had this mother saying to me, my child can read time, but she struggles reading the to and the past on the clock. I told her it was a chronosensor issue, which she disputed because her child had all her answers in tests correct on time. This was a WhatsApp discussion, and it was around about midday. I then asked her to ask her daughter, what time of the day is it, early, mid, or late? And to her surprise, her daughter said it was late afternoon. I rest my case. The child's internal chronosensor rhythm was not yet set. She is now working on the chronosensor, and I'm waiting the results. Once her chronosensor is set, she will be able to distinguish between to and past. We are at a crossroad in education. Socrates said, you cannot expect better results by doing the same things. For 300 years, teaching and learning were described as linear processes. The real world, however, does not comply to linear processes, neither does the brain. We are misleading ourselves to think learning is not a multidimensional balancing of a gyroscope at all time. Here is a question to you. How many things went through your mind since engaging with this activity? All of us, including me, hyperlink to other spaces. It could be a minute daydream. It could momentarily contemplate something related or non-related, or half solve a problem that was in your thinking kit bag, which you brought along. This means hyperlinking is a natural phenomenon for the brain. When teachers teach, their presentations are linear processes which are in conflict with how the brain is wired. Knowing what we know now, we know that it is impossible to transfer the curriculum's linear content into a hyperlinked brain. This is why it feels for teachers when they teach that they are talking to themselves, because they are. This made me think of another misunderstanding in education, namely Bloom's taxonomy, the original 1956 version or any version thereafter. When it comes to assessment, the following question could be regarded as on Bloom's comprehend level since it starts with the verb describe. I have a number of questions on this. Can a candidate answer the question without analyzing? Can the candidate answer the question without synthesizing? Can the candidate answer the question without evaluating? Can the candidate answer the question without application? No, the candidate can't. My final question then is, on which level of Bloom's taxonomy is this question? And are candidates given credit for higher order level thinking within such a question? This question is being answered within the thinking tools paradigm. This brings me to the memory. The memory is the brain's worst ability. It is general knowledge that when we read a textbook or study a textbook, we forget more than that we can remember. Worst. During the exam, the memory is unreliable and we cannot predict what the memory will be able to recall or what it will forget. The tragedy is that our children's brains are taught to memorize for 12 years, and once leaving school, there is no job for a memorizer. To understand the fourth industrial revolution gyro approach to teaching and learning, we must understand how the brain works. When I say holiday, the word, your mind starts thinking about many things related to holiday, which means, in essence, the brain is an expander of information. Contrary to the brain's nature of expanding, the education system prescribes a summarizing protocol. This is a public acknowledgement that the brain is not able to remember so much information. This summarizing protocol describes that you take a chapter, the chapter you condense to a page, that to a half a page, and that you condense to a quarter of a page. All these quarter of a pages are then put together and seen as the alpha and the omega for your studies to prepare for the exam. Keep in mind that to summarize is to let the brain perform activities for which it was not designed, namely to condense. This is probably the main reason why students dislike studying. The train smash happens during the exam. The brain is then put under severe stress to expand what was shrunk during the learning. The brain must now expand knowledge. It must also demonstrate micro insights and problem-solving skills on what was micronized during the learning process. I have two questions for you on the summarizing and expanding processes. The one is it fair to assess candidates in a way that they did not learn? Meaning they were taught to condense and during assessment they are required to expand. Is that fair? And do you as a teacher want to continue to be literally a mind shrinker or do you want to become a mind expander? It's over to you to decide. A fair question could now be, why thinking tools at this point in time, 2020, the year of COVID-19? The first reason is that we are already behind schedule to empower our learners with fourth industrial revolution competencies. The second reason is that critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity are already embedded within the thinking tools approach. Therefore, there's no need to teach them as add-ons. Thirdly, the thinking tools approach empower learners to develop their potential by employing their inborn fourth industrial revolution thinking skills within a holistic, integrated, and non-linear ways. Last, This fourth industrial approach to teaching and learning is unique in the world and currently not included in any teacher training program in the world. I published The DNA of Great Teachers in 2012, which paved the way to the thinking tools. In this book, I also coined the 5 teaching methods which are unique to the thinking tools teaching approach. This book, Potential Development Using Thinking Tools, is based on thinking tool sessions I had with teachers, parents, and children. I offer all thinking tool classes worldwide with Zoom. You are welcome to join the hundreds of fourth industrial revolution teachers, parents, and children who are graduated thinking pioneers, entrepreneurs, and groundbreakers.